Georgetown, Texas has earned a lot of attention over the last few years. Its charm, hill country scenery, golf course communities, historic downtown, the slower pace, it all looks incredible from the outside. But here's the truth that most buyers don't hear. Some of Georgetown's most talked about neighborhoods quietly charge a steep premium for the name on the map, and the value you get back doesn't always justify the price tag. In this video, we're breaking down 4 Georgetown neighborhoods that relocating buyers often rush into. I'm Stuart Sutton, full-time real estate broker and Georgetown, Texas real estate specialist. I spent over 3 decades here helping buyers and sellers. My goal is simple: help you understand the real differences between neighborhoods so your money goes where it truly works the hardest for you. Let's start with the neighborhood that shows up in almost every Georgetown luxury conversation. It's absolutely gorgeous, no doubt, but it's also one of the easiest places to quietly overpay if you don't look past the branding. Cimarron Hills is marketed as flagship Georgetown luxury, because it is. Jack Nicklaus signature golf course, guard-gated entry, resort-style amenities, big custom homes, and wonderful views. It absolutely delivers on the lifestyle, but that does come with a big price gap. As of late 25, the median listing price in Cimarron Hills is around $1.2 million, with many homes pushing well above that, of course. Georgetown as a whole sits closer to the mid-400s. In plain English, you're paying 2 to 3 times the city baseline just to be in Cimarron Hills. A big piece of that premium is not just the house. You're paying for the Cimarron Hills name, the golf, the club culture, the gated presentation, the perception of exclusivity. For some, it's a non-factor, but for buyers who stretch to get into Cimarron, that gap can limit flexibility and slow down wealth building if they want to move again within a few years. This is where the numbers and the lifestyle can start to separate. At a luxury price point, especially with a golf community label, the pool of qualified buyers is naturally smaller. Cimarron Hills homes are on the market longer than anywhere in Georgetown. They have as high as a 35% removal rate, meaning there's a third chance your house won't even sell, well above the Georgetown average, and it matters if you need to sell on a timeline. Of course, the fees and the monthly costs, you're not just paying the higher mortgage, you're laying in the mandatory HOA, the social memberships, optional golf memberships, higher property taxes, because obviously very expensive homes, higher insurance, professional landscaping. The true monthly number is often far above what people had in mind when they fell in love with Cimarron Hills, and that's easy to do. Many of the homes show beautifully online, but some of these homes are a little older and they're starting to need updates, and these are large homes. So the cost to improve will be considerably more than a typical home. And some of Cimarron Hills is near Highway 29, so you do have the road noise, but you're still paying premium prices because they're in Cimarron Hills. The real estate market is more sensitive at the top. In a softer or more balanced market, top-tier luxury communities are usually the first to feel the price cuts and the negotiation pressure, and you have seen that in Cimarron Hills. If you bought at the top of the market without understanding that, it can really hurt later. Now, Cimarron Hills is great if your finances are stable, if you can handle the costs, if having a challenge selling isn't an issue for you, but it's not ideal for buyers who might be stretching just to get into Cimarron Hills. Not great for buyers who are payment sensitive or counting on short-term appreciation. And those coming from other markets often do depend on that. If you have to sell in 3, 5, 7 years, it may be more of a challenge than you think. Now, Cimarron Hills is perfect for a lot of people, but if you're looking for an alternative, I'm going to throw out Berry Creek. It's an established golf course community. If you like the idea of quality homes, golf or amenity-focused community, polished neighborhood, but you don't really want to tie up 7 figures plus ongoing dues, Berry Creek and similar established communities can be a smarter value. As of late 25, Berry Creek's median sell price is in the high 500s and low 600s, obviously noticeably lower than Cimarron Hills, which, as I said, is roughly at about $1.2 million. You still get attractive homes, a lovely golf course community, golf or club access, and a price point that's, well, much closer to Georgetown's overall median. There's a smaller gap between your purchase price and Georgetown's median baseline. That can give you room for updates, savings, future moves without feeling overextended. Depending on the section you choose in Berry Creek, the streets are established, have mature trees, traditional curb appeal, and of course access to golf, tennis, social facilities. Often with more flexible membership options and different fee structures, it's a reasonable location for shopping, dining, and other services. And you can get a lot of the same nice Georgetown Country Club neighborhood experience without paying that steep luxury markup. From a long-term standpoint, Berry Creek tends to attract a broader buyer pool because the total price and monthly costs are just more accessible. You can get 3,500 square feet of luxury for under $1 million versus $1.2 million plus in Cimarron Hills. It's more consistent for turnover, more available comparable sales for pricing, and Berry Creek gives you better flexibility in different market cycles. You're not locked into a thin, high-end slice of the market. And it's actually one of the steadiest markets in Georgetown, Texas. Right now, it's at a 40% hotness ratio, which is one of the very best in this market. And for many buyers, that means easier resale, less risk if you need to move, and sometimes you need to move sooner than planned. When someone tells me they love the idea of a golf course community, but they're not sure about spending $1 million plus to get there, Cimarron Hills and Berry Creek are usually the first two names that come up when it comes to golf course communities. Cimarron is absolutely fantastic, drop dead gorgeous if you're truly buying in that top tier club lifestyle and you're comfortable at that price point. But if you want something a little more forgiving, a little more flexible, where your money goes a little further and your future options might be wider, then Berry Creek and similar communities can give you a great day-to-day experience, a very similar one at a more reasonable number. Cimarron Hills is exactly what most people picture when they think Georgetown luxury, and for the right buyer, it's a terrific fit. When it becomes overpriced is when someone stretches for the name and the prestige without looking at the trade-off. A much higher entry price, higher monthly costs, and a smaller future buyer pool. Communities like Berry Creek can give you a similar feel with a purchase price and a long-term cost structure that leaves room in your budget and gives you a little more flexibility down the road. Now let's move to one of Georgetown's most exclusive estate-style communities, a place where scarcity and story sound incredible, but the tiny buyer pool and the price tag can be risky if you're not really operating in that top tier. Gables Grove is one of Georgetown's true acreage luxury pocket. Has big custom homes, 1 acre plus homes, trees, privacy, gated community, really that private estate feel in 78633 zip code. On paper, really looks like the perfect hill country upgrade. However, Gables Grove sits at the top of the local price spectrum in Georgetown, Texas, even for homes on an acre or more. Current listings range from just under $1 million to about $2.5 million. Usually the homes are priced between $1 million and $1.5 million, but can push well beyond that. That means you're not just paying a premium over the Georgetown median, but you're stepping into a price tier that's significantly above other acreage and gated neighborhoods. Now, a lot of that gap comes from simply large, new, impressive homes in the acreage setting and the perception of top-tier living on an acre or more. A lot of times relocating buyers see those photos, the big, impressive stone homes, the long drives, the trees, the space, and they assume they're buying in unquestioned long-term value areas. Well, the reality is a little bit more nuanced. You see a 3,500 to 4,000 square foot home priced in the high six figures somewhere else can easily run 1.1 to 1.8 million in Gables Grove. You can typically get a home similar for about $125,000 to $150,000 less elsewhere than in Gables Grove. Now, you may not feel it's overpriced and may love the fact that Gables Grove is such an impressive community, and it is, but there are very limited comparables for those sales. And a lot of those market prices are driven by seller expectations and not market data. And be absolutely sure that you're aware of the true ownership cost of owning a home on an acre or more. A lot of times buyers realize they just don't really need that much house. And as life changes and kids are leaving, home, retirement, shifts in income, the size and cost can start to feel like, well, more than they bargained for. It is fabulous, and don't get me wrong, Gables Grove makes a lot of sense if you have substantial income and assets and aren't feeling stretched. If you really like that estate-style property in the upper-end luxury tier in Georgetown, Texas. And if you're comfortable with the ongoing maintenance, the taxes, the insurance, and this really is a long-term lifestyle purchase, not a speculative appreciation play. But it's certainly not ideal if you're payment sensitive or using most of your budget just to get into that impressive estate style home. It's really not for you if you plan on moving in the next 5, 7, 8 years, or if you prefer low maintenance and you want to lock and leave the house. There are other alternatives you might want to look at, and the similar sounding name Gables Overlook is one of them. If you like the idea of trees, space, a hill country feel, but don't really want to push into that very highest acreage price tier, Gables Overlook can offer a more measured path for you. Recent market data shows this. Median listing prices in Gables Overlook is under $900,000. Active listings in Gables Overlook generally show up well below those that show up in Gables Grove as far as pricing. The average price per square foot, although we don't use that for acreage very often, but it does tend to sit around $280, which is a premium over Georgetown's median, but it's in line with other quality acreage, semi-luxury pockets, but it's far less than Gables Grove. In short, you've still got a premium acreage style community, but you're not jumping quite as far above the broader market into that thinner buyer pool as you would in Gables Grove. And Gables Overlook offers much of what people think when they think about hill country living near Georgetown. It's got a gated entrance for added privacy. It's got larger lots, an acre or more, great trees, space between the neighbors, a quiet country feel with quick access to Highway 29, and a lot of the lots back to the creek and have wonderful views. There is actually a mix of custom and semi-custom homes rather than a dense production style subdivision. So you still get the peaceful setting, the mature landscape, the quality homes, that out of town but not too far experience. And you get it without stepping into that very top tier price bracket. From a long-term standpoint, Gables Overlook tends to sit in a price band that, well, attracts a little broader buyer pool. It benefits from the appeal of a gated community with 1 acre plus lots. It has more consistent resale activity, and comparable sales can help support those higher valuations. Gables Overlook has twice the success rate in home sales and a stronger market position with less inventory and faster home sales than Gables Grove. Now, if you don't need a gated community and want to be reasonably close to where Gables Grove is located, look at Woodland Park. Has a 5.5-month supply of home, an $840,000 average price for a 3,000 square foot house, very similar to Gables Overlook. It's got a mix of older and newer homes and has a better market position than Gables Grove. So for many buyers, Gables Overlook or Woodland Park mean a better balance between lifestyle and cost for a home on an acre or more. You're much more likely to be able to sell or refinance in a changing market if you need to, and there's less pressure on appreciation to justify that high purchase price. So when someone tells me they want trees, they want space, that hill country feel on the northwest side of Georgetown, neighborhoods like Gables Grove, Gables Overlook always come up. Gables Grove is absolutely fabulous. It is a stunning neighborhood if you're comfortable being in that upper luxury price range. But if you like that same general area and lifestyle, and you'd rather keep it a little more flexible, both in your budget and your future resale options, then Woodland Park, Gables Overlook, if you want that security gate, can both give you a setting that you're looking for. And neither is going to push you up to that tier that Gables Grove is. Gables Grove delivers exactly what's promised: high-end hill country living, beautiful large lots. But it can become overpriced when people simply love what they see because it is impressive. You need to find more about the costs, the market, and what's going on there. If a home on a large lot is your secret desire, I've been here over 3 decades. I may have sold more homes than anyone that you'll meet on an acre or more. Grab my 1 acre plus buyer checklist down below. Call or text with specific questions. I happen to know the areas with the high restrictions, those with the loose restrictions where you can park your boat or your RV, the ones that give you the most bang for your buck, and well, pretty much the little niches and hidden areas typical agents may not be aware of. So let me know if I can help. So let's move from private acreage living to Georgetown's historic core, where charm and walkability are real, but so's the risk of overpaying for older bones and surprise repairs. The Old Town District in Georgetown, Texas is a postcard version of Georgetown. Walkable to the square in many cases, mature trees, big front porches, historic homes, look like something out of a magazine. It's also, well, one of the most expensive areas in the city of Georgetown, Texas. And for good reason, most people feel. The Old Town's median listing price is around, well, $620, $625, making it one of the higher priced areas of Georgetown. But it's not just that price itself. You see, it's the space you get for the price. The average price per square foot is around $350 a foot. Now you can get into the historic district at lower prices under $400,000, but your space is certainly going to be limited because you're paying a clear premium for location close to the square, close to downtown Georgetown, and of course the charm and the architecture, as well as the Old Town name and the reputation, instead of newer construction, energy efficiency, or larger square footages. Often buyers come in expecting storybook perfect, turnkey experience. The reality can be more complicated. Some of the homes have old bones and modern bills. These homes can be 50 to 100 years old or more. The renovation and repair budget can quickly erase any perceived upside from this fantastic location. And of course, you do have smaller lots. For the price, buyers expect more land and privacy. Instead, they find tighter lots, limited parking, shared driveways, homes closer to the street, a little bit more noise, Parking pressure during festivals and weekends can surprise people who expected a quiet, small-town feel. And of course, there's mixed quality and layout. Some of the homes are beautifully restored, others have been remodeled, well, in pieces over the decades. And some of these plans can be kind of quirky, and some people like that and recognize the craftsmanship, but in reality, quality varies widely. Not every home justifies that top-tier price per square foot that this area gets. And resale means that you have to have just that right buyer. Old town properties in prime locations and in great condition certainly are going to sell, but at the top of the price range, the buyer pool thins out pretty quickly, especially for homes that still need work. So this area of the market has longer days in the market and less success in reaching a successful sale. So Old Town, Georgetown, Texas does make sense if you genuinely value architecture, character, walkability, more than the home size or the budget. If you're comfortable with older home realities and the inspections that come with that. If you see the historic charm as part of your lifestyle and not just part of your investment. However, this area of town isn't really ideal if you want low maintenance, energy efficient, or newer construction. It's not really the best place if you're payment sensitive and don't have extra room in the budget for some surprise or even big ticket repairs. If you want a plug and play house with modern layouts, it's probably not the place to be. It is fantastic, it's unique, it makes you feel like you're in Mayberry. But if it's not quite the place for you, there are some options. Let's take a look. Some really good options are right across the highway. Oak Crest Estates, Oak Crest, Riverside, Riverbend. These are near central Georgetown and major quarters. But if you don't necessarily need a 100-year-old house on a tight lot, these type of neighborhoods are a great balanced equation. You see, recent data shows that Oak Crest's median listing price is about the same as Old Town's, but you get more house for your money and more lot for your money. A lot of these homes are actually on half-acre lots. The average price per square foot in this area means that for 1,800 square foot, you can get it for about $420,000 versus Old Town at about $630,000. In practical terms, that just means more house for the money. And the homes are more recently built. They're not new by any means, but 70s and 80s, so you have more modern systems. And a purchase price that's closer to, well, the Georgetown baseline instead of paying that pure historic premium. Lifestyle and neighborhood feel, well, depending on the section and area that you're in, you've got mature trees, you've got established streets, you've got a very nice, quiet, serene feel. Now that historic core is lovely, but it's only a few minutes drive. Getting to downtown Georgetown is quick and easy from here. And you're living in more conventional floor plans. You have those typical 2-car garages and driveways, kind of more modern life, if you will. It's just a home that's, well, sometimes easier to live in day-to-day life than one that has a more demanding maintenance schedule and that might have been remodeled to make do in some of the areas of the original floor plan. So these close-in but newer neighborhoods tend to benefit broader buyer appeal, more people can afford them, and they check boxes for relocators and move-up buyers as well. And you have less surprises when it comes to inspections, structural, and other issues. Price points are also an issue. Though not cheap, you do get more house and more money instead of paying for the purely historic character. So that means typically easier resale in difficult market conditions. This area is actually one of the best markets in Georgetown. Fewer homes fail to sell, and they tend to sell a little faster. So there's a better balance in the market, as well as a better balance of location, livability, long-term cost. There's no doubt Old Town is absolutely special. And if you love that type of lifestyle, you'll want to be there. And I do love the square, the trees, the houses with the porches, and it's just incredible. But I have seen buyers get blindsided hoping for that dream lifestyle and get blindsided by unexpected costs. So if you like the idea of being close, but you don't necessarily want to take on a 70, 80, or 100-year-old house, then we'll usually look at neighborhoods like Oak Crest, Riverbend, and mature neighborhoods close by. You still have great access to downtown and anywhere you want to be, as well as a nice, quiet neighborhood feel. And a price point that gives you a little more house for your money. It might make a little more sense over the long term. Historic Georgetown homes can absolutely be worth it for someone who loves that and is willing to pay the premium for that charm and that location. Close-in areas like Oak Crest, Riverbend, and others offer a way to stay near the heart of Georgetown with a more practical, more efficient, and probably a more budget-conscious property. Next, let's move to one of Georgetown's headline master plan communities, a place that sells a strong lifestyle story, but premiums and fee structures can quietly push you past what you really want to spend. Wolf Ranch is one of Georgetown's headline master plan communities. It's got hilltop views, miles of trails, resort-style amenity centers, and an on-site Wolf Ranch Elementary. It's really heavily marketed as a have-it-all community, and of course, the pricing does reflect that. Recent data shows that the median listing price in Wolf Ranch is about $615,000. Some online data sources say that's really not very competitive compared to the Georgetown median. In plain terms, a lot of buyers are stepping $150,000 to $200,000 above the broader market just to be in Wolf Ranch. Now remember, you're not just paying for a house, you're paying for newer construction, strong community branding, multiple amenity centers, and they are impressive, and a full lifestyle program, and also great access to Wolf Ranch shopping and other major corridors. For some buyers, that premium fits their priorities. For others, it kind of stretches their budget beyond what's necessary for actual day-to-day life. In marketing brochures and videos, Wolf Ranch looks like a no-brainer. But once buyers dig into the details, a few friction points tend to show up. The fees and the monthly costs are more than expected. There's a public improvement district. The HOA fees are just over $1,000 a year for most single-family homes, and there are additional fees with certain sections. So when you consider the HOA assessments, the PID assessments, higher property taxes because of the new construction values, and possibly higher insurance because of the larger square footages, the real monthly cost can land well above what buyers expect from the base sticker price. In addition, the lots are smaller than the marketing vibe tends to lean toward. You see, it shows hill country views and open spaces, but most standard Wolf Ranch lots are pretty tight, and that can create, well, kind of a disconnect between the lifestyle buyers pictured and the actual yard size and the privacy they get on a day-to-day basis. And new build competition is severe. Builders can offer incentives. They can adapt to the market. Home sellers typically can't do that. And that's exactly what they've done in Wolf Ranch, offering incredible rate buydowns, closing costs, huge discounts on spec homes, incentives for upgrades. If you bought earlier at a higher price, your situation has changed. The Wolf Ranch resale market has already softened. As a matter of fact, it's one of the weakest in Georgetown. That certainly doesn't mean nobody should consider Wolf Ranch. If you want amenity-rich, socially active, highly programmed community, sort of the plug-and-play neighborhood lifestyle, and you're comfortable with the purchase price a little bit higher, HOA, the PID, the taxes, and you're going to plan to stay long enough that the lifestyle benefits matter, then sure, Wolf Ranch can be a great place for you to live. But it's not ideal if you're stretching just to get in, if you're payment sensitive, or think you might be moving in 3, 5, or 7 years. If you want a little more space like larger lots, lower fixed costs, and more flexibility in making a change, then there might be other alternatives. A great alternative is Parkside on the River. If you like the idea of newer master plan communities with trails, amenities, and good access to major roads, but you want to be a little more careful about how far you stretch above the median in Georgetown, Texas, then this could be a good option. Recent stats and builder information show that prices here are about high 400s to mid 700s. And community marketing shows that's about 10% below the average new home price in the Georgetown, Texas market. In practical terms, that just means you can buy a little bit more house, a little bit more space for your money. And that's with builders with comparable quality. Now, because that price band overlaps Wolf Ranch, we're going to look at another option as well. Water Oak is just up the road off Highway 29. It's a little bit more mature than Wolf Ranch and comes with builders like Grand Haven, Wilshire, and Chesmar, all respected builders. Now, the amenities aren't quite as extensive as Wolf Ranch, but the price point is certainly less. And the neighborhood does have a Texas hill country feel, with some of the homes having lovely views, as you can see behind me. There's a variety of floor plans and adequate yard space too. Water Oak and similar communities are going to offer modern floor plans, open layouts, energy efficient construction, and trail systems and green belts. As a matter of fact, Water Oak's trail system is supposed to connect to the city of Georgetown's trails in the future, and that's a big boon for Water Oak residents. In proximity to major employers, roadways are similar to Wolf Ranch, just add a few minutes. And this is a community that feels family-oriented, amenity-driven, just doesn't have quite as extensive of amenities and quite as much branding or the long established marketing program that Wolf Ranch is known for. And even though most of these are resale, the buyers will benefit from the newer construction that requires fewer big ticket repairs in the first decade. You're not paying quite as much in fees, PIDs, HOAs, along with top of the market pricing. So for many buyers, that translates to a stronger balance between the monthly cost and the lifestyle. And if you need to sell or refinance, the market's a little better in a situation like this. There's a little less pressure in the future to justify that purchase. I'll give you a couple examples. Water Oak had a 26% removal rate for homes that went on the market, while Wolf Ranch had a 46% removal rate. 4-month supply of homes in Water Oak versus 7-month in Wolf Ranch. So you got nearly $100,000 less average price, meaning you can get quite a bit more house for your money. Now, don't get me wrong, Wolf Ranch is a fantastic community. There's no doubt about it. But I also see buyers stretch for homes that they really don't need to because they're not aware of the options. So if you like that newer master plan feel and you want trails, parks, clean modern neighborhood, you might look at places like Parkside on the River, Water Oak, Lakeside, and a few others nearby. Very often we can find you a similar floor plan, similar build quality, and a great neighborhood feel. With a monthly cost and overall price, it gives you just a little more breathing room. Wolf Ranch does sell a strong story, and for many families, it delivers. But it does become overpriced when buyers pay top of the market prices, plus HOA, PIDs, higher taxes, higher insurance, without comparing price per square foot, lot size, and other options. So communities like Parkside on the River, Water Oak, and other newer neighborhoods can give you much of the same day-to-day lifestyle with a price structure that will keep you closer to Georgetown's baseline. And that can make a big difference in your long-term comfort and flexibility. Now that we talked through all 4 of these areas, let's pull this all together with a quick recap. That way you can spot the warning signs of an overpriced area anywhere in Georgetown, Texas, not just among the ones we have discussed on this video. The truth is, not every high-priced or highly marketed neighborhood in Georgetown automatically delivers long-term value. Between stacked HOA and PID fees, higher property taxes, maintenance surprises with acreage homes and historic homes, and thinner buyer pools and luxury pockets, it's easy to get caught up in the lifestyle pitch and overlook what really affects your daily comfort and your financial future. Most regret doesn't come from buying in Georgetown. It comes from stretching into the wrong neighborhood for the wrong reasons. The smartest buyers look past branding, marketing, and photos, and they compare cost versus convenience, lifestyle versus long-term flexibility, and the real numbers behind each area instead of relying on reputation alone. Those are the buyers who end up with the homes that not only fit their life, but perform better over time. That's exactly why I make these videos, to help you see past the hype and make confident, well-informed decisions. I'm Stuart Sutton, a full-time real estate broker and Georgetown, Texas real estate specialist. I've spent over 3 decades studying this market and helping people buy and sell everything from golf course estates to 55-plus communities to acreage. And if you're thinking about moving to or within Georgetown, reach out using the link below or give me a quick call. We'll talk through your goals, your price range, and I'll show you exactly where your money goes the furthest and which areas you might want to think twice about before you buy. Let's make sure your next move in Georgetown is the right fit, not an expensive surprise.